The one thing you do wrong in your practice. Welcome everyone to this video. We are the DimitrovBoelee piano duo. My name is Dimitri Dimitrov.
And my name is DimitrovBoelee.
And in today's video, we are going to talk to you about the one thing you do wrong in your practice, most likely. There are, of course, many different things that you could be doing wrong with your practice. And me and Elvira, we wanted to make a video about the most obvious practicing too fast. It's the thing that we see most. It's the mistake that our students do most of the time. And so we thought, let's make a video about it. Let's get straight to the most important question. Why is actually practicing fast damaging? Why you are not going to benefit from your practice if you do it too quickly?
So practicing too fast can actually be damaging at any point of your practicing. So whether you're learning a new piece, whether you're getting the piece ready for stage, no matter what stage you're in, practicing too fast often is quite damaging, quite harmful. But I think that it's most harmful in the very beginning stage. So I was teaching yesterday, and actually a lot of my students were starting new pieces. And again I saw yesterday that my students were practicing too fast, and it just slows them down so much from learning a new piece. Learning a new piece is like building a building. What you need first of all is a very strong and firm foundation. No matter what a beautiful building you have in mind is not going to work out if you don't have that solid foundation. So why does practicing fast influence your foundation so much? Well, if you practice too fast, especially when first learning a piece, you'll skip all kinds of steps, very important steps, like, for example, playing the right notes, playing the right fingering, having an idea and understanding of what the rhythm of a piece is. I see my students skipping these steps just because they are so eager to get to the final result.
And when you're studying a new piece and you are doing the wrong things, in this case, practicing too fast, you reach the point of no return. That means that many things could have gone wrong already. You could have learned the piece with the wrong fingering, for example, and you reach this point of no return where it becomes very difficult and very frustrating to go back and relearn the piece with the right fingering, the right way. And that's why it is so important to practice in a comfortable tempo so you don't reach this frustrating point where you actually hear that the piece doesn't sound the way you want it to sound. You know the piece, you love the piece, that's why you picked it up, that's why you are playing it, that's why you are learning it. Don't allow yourself to learn it the wrong way because you're going to be unhappy with it and it's going to be extremely difficult to do it over again the right way.
When you have the habit of practicing too fast, the end result is always the same. Your piece is never going to go above a certain level. It's always going to stay at a level that you kind of know it, but it's still sloppy.
Let's have a look at a few tips that can help you improve all this. One of the things you can do right away is pick a new piece. That's the best and safest way for you to abandon any bad habits that you might have developed with the piece you're currently playing. You pick a new piece, it's a clean slate, you start from the beginning, you're fresh with the knowledge we're giving you, with the awareness that you shouldn't be practicing too quickly, and a new piece can ensure that you do that as best as you possibly can.
So before I get to our second tip, I need to tell you something first. Slow practice is actually quite difficult. And that might be surprising to you, but it is actually true. And why is it difficult? Well, that's because in order to practice slowly, you need a true understanding and feeling of the rhythm of the piece. Now, still very often, our students, they see 16th notes and they think immediately those are fast notes. Or they see half notes and they immediately think, oh, these are slow. But tempo, rhythm, is never defined only by fast and slow. It's mostly defined in how the notes relate to each other. A half note is twice as slow as a quarter note. And a 16th note is twice as fast as an 8th note. So according to whatever tempo you're in, these notes are faster or slower. You need to understand the relationship of these notes in order to play them properly. If you don't understand proper rhythm, you cannot play slow because your tempo will be totally out of proportion. Which brings me to our second tip, understanding rhythm. I want you to do the following exercise. I want you to take your piece, your new piece like we discussed, and I want you to write the beats in every bar. So if you have a 4/4 time signature, write 4 beats in every bar. Make sure you know where the 4 beats are coming. Make sure you are really aware of the rhythm of the piece. So let's actually do that right now together. Okay, let's take a look at this score together. This is the score of the Ronda alla Turca by Mozart, which is of course a favorite among students. They're always very excited to play this. Let's take a look at the rhythm of this piece. Let's take a look at the time signature. So it's a 2/4 time signature, which means that there are 2 beats in the bar and that the quarter note is 1 beat. It starts in an incomplete bar, as you see. It doesn't start on the first beat, it starts on the second beat. And if I were you, in this particular piece, I would write the beats and also the half beats. So I would read 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Now you don't have to do this for the whole piece, but simply taking a look at this, taking a look how it is rhythmically built, will help you already to play, for example, these 16th notes, not too fast, because you know together they're only half a beat.
After you write the beats that each note belongs to, it's time for tip number 3. And that would be practicing with a metronome. Our own students, who we have from the very beginning, from their first piano lesson, of course are introduced to the metronome in no time. But we're shocked every time with Elvira when we get students from other teachers who come to us and they have, let's say, bad habits, and we're trying to fix bad habits, and we're absolutely stunned to find out that these people have never been introduced to the metronome, practicing with the metronome. It's one of the biggest mistakes you can possibly make. Make sure that the metronome becomes an inseparable part of your piano practice. Another important thing to know is that while the metronome can assist you in increasing your tempo, for example, you start a piece at a speed 50 and your goal is to play the piece in 100. The metronome can help you do that, of course, because you know when you're going to 60, what 70 feels like, what 80 feels like, until you reach your final goal. But don't forget that the metronome has another great use. It's actually keeping you in track. It keeps you within one and the same tempo, and you're basically not allowed, in a way, to deviate from that tempo. It's going to tell you when you're too slow or too fast, and you're training to keep one and the same speed.
And that's why it's a great method to use if you want to practice slow.
One way to practice would be to put the metronome to be together with you on every quarter note, every quarter beat. Let me show you how that sounds like. The metronome marking at the moment is 30 for each quarter. As you can see, the metronome was keeping me play within one and the same tempo. Now, because for me this tempo is extremely slow, I don't need to practice in this tempo, it was actually challenging for me to maintain one and the same speed. And sometimes I was going a little bit too quickly, and then I hear that the metronome corrects me immediately. Now, according to how advanced you are or how much experience you have with the metronome, you might not be able to follow quarter beats of the metronome. And you can make your life much easier by doubling the speed from 30 to 60, and instead of the metronome being on every quarter with you, the metronome is going to stay with you on every 8th note. And that's going to be much easier to follow. This is 60. So it's the same speed, as you can hear. It's absolutely the same speed. I'm going to play it for you, but the difference here is that now the metronome, the tick of the metronome, is on every 8th note. That will make your life much easier. And of course, when you get used to 60, try 30 again like I did initially the first time, because that's when you're a little bit more advanced and accustomed to the metronome. Let's have a look at this tempo, which is the same but 60. Immediately much easier to follow, even for me. Even for me, that I'm used to practicing with metronome, even though I don't do it anymore, I had to think much less and I had to concentrate much less in 60 than in 30. So you will see that once you start experimenting with different tempos and matching the metronome with different note values, sometimes every 16th note, sometimes every 8th note, sometimes every quarter note, even a half note when you're quicker, you will see what a great benefit you're going to have from it.
Now let's take a look at what we discussed so far. If you're practicing piano, big chances are that you're probably practicing too fast. And we just gave you 3 tips in order to improve your slow practice. The first tip is you're building a new habit. So do it with a new piece. Pick a new piece and start from a clean slate. Try to start immediately with a new piece, practicing very slow.
Our second tip was to write each beat in your sheet music. In this way, you know where the first beat comes, then the second beat comes, third, fourth beat. Not only that, you can write the upbeats as well. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's going to give you clarity, because then you will know very obviously that 4/16 notes are not going to be 4/16 notes that are quick and belong nowhere. No, 4/16 notes will belong to the same tempo and they belong to 1 quarter note or 2 8th notes. In this way, you will consciously know the relationship between the different notes.
Finally, you can practice with metronome. Metronome is generally something you should be using for your piano practice. And it's not only great for increasing tempo, it's actually great to keep you on the same slow tempo for practicing. Don't forget, you don't have to put your metronome always on quarter notes. Especially for a very slow tempo, as Dimitar demonstrated, is actually pretty tricky. Feel free to put the beat of the metronome on different note values, like for example 8th notes or 16th notes. So if after these tips you still feel like you would want some help with your piano practice, feel free to contact us. You can find the link to our website in the box below.
This is going to be all for our videos. If you have, like Elvira said, if you have any further questions, don't hesitate to contact us. We'll be happy to answer. If you happen to like our video, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to be informed whenever we upload a new video, just subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. Then YouTube will let you know whenever a new video is up and running.
And remember, don't forget to practice.